Alright, in this tutorial we are going to create something that looks like this. This is the cutout review tutorial. We are going to start with 4 images. This image, the flag, the baseball bat, and the elephant. And we are going to combine them and make something that looks like this. And this is kind of a review, but I also introduced some new concepts we haven't gone over yet. So quickly, let's talk about what we're going to do here. The first thing is we're going to crop it. We're going to crop this section out right here. So we're going to learn about the crop tool. With the flag, we're going to review and use the marquee tool to select only the flag and bring it in over here, resize it using Command T, the transform tool, and also you can see that it's somewhat transparent. So we're going to be using right here, changing the opacity to make it a little bit less transparent. Sorry. You know, this is at 100%. If I change the opacity and drop it down, you're starting to see right through it. So this is very useful for when you want to blend layers together. So we're going to do that. Obviously, we're going to rename all our layers. We're going to drag the elephant in. We're going to use this tool right here. We're going to use the magic wand tool. We're going to select the elephant. We're going to drag that in, and we're going to change it to, or we're going to change the color to green. Rename that layer, and then also we're going to add a bat to this. Instead of a golf club, we're going to have a bat, and if there's room, you're going to clone out the golf club that was here as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to crop this. So I'm going to go to my crop tool right here. I'm going to make sure that it's on unconstrained. If you want to do an exact crop, you can type in the dimensions right here. And you're going to just pull this up like so. If you want, you can kind of move this side to side. Select the area that you want, not that you want left out, but select the area that you want. And then you are going to just hit enter and crop it out. And after you do that, and I would normally recommend cropping at the very end. It is a destructive edit, but for this case, go ahead and do it now. Next, let's go to the flag, and I'm going to just take the flag out, drag it out, and I'm going to use the marquee tool and the rectangle marquee tool, that is, and I'm going to select just the flag. So I'm going to select just the flag. I'm going to click on my and then if you want to refine the edge, you can right-click. You can go to refine edge, and you can change it as you see fit. I don't care about the settings, but it's always nice to get practice refining the edges. Once you do that, you go to the move tool and you move it over. And then I want you to put in the upper right hand corner. You can use the arrow keys as well. And then hit Command T. Command T will scale it. And then now we need to change the opacity and rename the layer. So double click on the layer. Let's label that flag. And I want you to change the opacity right above your layer palette, or it's in your layer palette. Change the opacity to about, let's say, about 20, between 20 and 30%. Okay. Next, we're going to select the elephant. All right, go to your elephant. And we haven't used this tool yet. This is a new tool to us. It's the magic. It's not a new tool to Photoshop, but we haven't gone over it yet. It's the magic wand tool, and it's embedded with your quick selection tool. If you click on that, what I want you to do is just select the tolerance at 32, and right up here on your formatting toolbar, make sure you do add to selection. If you just have it under new selection, each time you click somewhere, it'll delete the previous selection part. So instead of doing just one selection, click right here and make sure you have add to selection. And what this does is, what the magic wand tool does is it selects color pixels that are similar in color, and you can change the tolerance more or less depending on how sensitive you want your magic wand to be. So if I just click right here, you can see that, just keep on clicking, and it's a pretty powerful tool if you're just trying to select things of similar color. Very fast and efficient. Once you get the elephant selected, you can right click redefine or refine edges, change the refine edges as you see fit, click OK, and then I'm going to drag this out a little bit so I can see my golf. Go back to your move tool or hit V, which is the shortcut command for it. I want you to drag it in, and you can resize it a little bit if you want. You can place it on the beam. If you hit Command T, you can rotate it by putting your cursor just outside the bounding boxes. Then when you're done, hit Enter and rename that elephant. And now we're going to change the color. Now, the way we're going to change the color in the future is by using these adjustment layers down here. But for this, since we haven't gone over that, I wanted to show you another way. If you go to Image, Mode, sorry, I lied, Image, Adjustments, and then we can go to Color Balance. You can choose the color and manipulate the color by changing these sliders, okay? So go ahead and change it to a color of your choice. Hit OK. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the baseball bat. Now this is really an ideal situation in which you want to use a magic wand tool. What we're going to do is, since there's so much white space around this bat, if you select your magic wand tool and click once on the white, it'll basically select all the white around it. And then what we're going to do after that is, we don't want the white selected, we want the bat selected. So all we have to do is click on the white and it selects all the white. And then what you're going to do is you're going to hold down Control and click if you have a Mac, or right click. And then you're going to go to Select Inverse. And what that means is it's going to select everything that's not currently selected and invert the selection. So instead of the white being selected, whatever's not selected currently will be after you select the inverse. So now you can see the marching ants around the bat. You can do the refine edge if you'd like. And now hit OK. And now we're going to drag this bat into our picture. So go back to your move tool, drag it in. And what we're going to do is we're going to hit Command T and rotate that. After you hit Command T and have the bounding boxes, put your cursor, you see how it transitions from that to that. This will enable you to rotate it. And I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, so I'm going to hold down Shift, scale it down, and there we go. Now I'm kind of having a hard time seeing, so I'm going to click on the Zoom tool right here. I'm going to hold down and rope. So it'll zoom in, and then I'll go back to my move tool right up here, and I'm going to kind of position it like so. And what I would recommend, what we're going to do in the future is we're going to mask this out instead of using the eraser tool. Masking is more in line with the non-destructive editing, but since we haven't covered masking yet, we're going to use the eraser tool. So let's go ahead and rename that layer Bat. And what I want you to do is go to your eraser tool, and you can change the brush size to a brush size. For this one, probably 10 is fine. And I'm just going to make sure you're on the bat layer, and I'm just going to delete or erase his head, so the bat's behind his head, and also his hands right there. It's hard to tell. It's pixelated. This is a small file size. You can see down here it's only 406 kilobytes. It's a very small file, that's why it's pixelated when you zoom in a little bit. And the last thing we need to do is we need to kind of get rid of this golf club, or at least the head of the golf club. So what I want you to do is go back to your background layer, and I want you to take off or clone out this head. Now if you wanted to do it properly, you can always click a brand new layer or go to Layer, New Layer, and just put cloned out golf head, and then I would position it right here. See how you can kind of move the layers? I'd put it right here, and what I'd do is I'd just click right here on the background layer, go to your clone stamp tool, and I would hold down Control, let's see, I'm gonna go to the clone stamp tool, and hold down, Alt, and I'm going to sample right here, and I'm going to turn the eye off for the bat. So I'll turn off the eye. So the background layer, I'm going to hold down Alt to sample maybe a section right here, and then I'm going to click back up on this blank layer, and then I'm just going to let go of Alt and click and kind of get rid of that. So now when I add the bat, you can see that I have done that, and if I wanted to change it back to a golf club, I can simply turn off the eye and then also turn off the eye of this. That's another reason for non-destructive editing is you don't really want to make permanent edits on the background, because if you have that flexibility to change your edits at a future date. So let's say you're like, well, I really don't like the bat in there. Well, take the bat off. If you cloned it on the background layer, then you'd have to run around and get the picture again. Since we cloned it out on a separate layer, I can just turn off the eye and go with the club. Okay, so when you're done with this, it should look something like this. And then go ahead and File, Save As, and you can save it as Cutout Review. And then yeah, just Cutout Review, and make sure you save it as a PSD file. That way it preserves the layers.